Hey guys, if you haven't already, give the video a like, subscribe to my channel. This is a what if series and I'll be doing more down the road. Plus Ultra.
Hey guys, welcome to What If Deku had Spider-Man's powers, a brand new What If series. Now, I don't know how this series is going to do, but you guys can show love with that like button. That will let me know that you guys want further parts in the future. Now, let's go to explaining this. Izuku with Spider-Man's powers, sorry about that, but Izuku with Spider-Man's powers. Now, let's see how the story would go. So the first part of the story, just like in original canon, with Deku not having a quirk and being quirkless, would play out exactly the same. All up until the day that Deku turns 12 years old. And when he turns 12 years old, yes, he's going to get his spider powers really early. And there'll be further explaining as to why he's getting them early. So, with that, Deku happens to go on this science field trip to Oscorp with his class, and of course Bakugo and his goons and the rest of his middle school class were there. So they went exploring around Oscorp, and Oscorp had a lot of different technology and a different like things that Deku was interested in, seeing all these gadgets that inspired or all the heroes have equipped themselves with well, one hero has equipped itself with creating good technology about that. And with that, Deku ended up like storming off. Like he ended up losing his classmates and ended up stumbling in a place where he's seen this biotensile string. And then he happens to go in a place where there's a bunch of spiders in this like so-called area. He happens to look at him, but then when he touches something or he bends a web, all the spiders start falling on Deku, and Deku immediately freaks out. Get off me! Get off me! And then he says, I maybe should find the rest of my class, not knowing that there was a spider on him. So, at the time when Deku catches up with his middle school class, his teacher yells at him saying, well, not yells at him, but basically disciplines him saying, listen, Izuku, you shouldn't storm off. Stay with the class, you understand? And Deku just goes, yes, sir. And Bakugo just looks at Deku and say, hey, you damn nerd, what did you go off to? And Deku just says, well, I got interested in seeing about that biotensile string that this Oscorp place is producing. And with that, Bakugo just instantly punches Deku in the face saying, you're a nerd, you just hurt my brain, and walks off. And Deku just says in his head, why do you have be such a jerk, Bakugo? Excuse me. And all of that happening with a sharp pain to Deku's wrist. And Deku instantly flicks it off to notice that he got bit by a spider. And with that, Deku just brushes it off like it's nothing. But then when he gets like home, when the field trip is over and school is over, he gets home, he's very dizzy. Like very dizzy. He instantly goes to the bathroom. He feels sick. Started throwing up in the toilet, and then he just goes to his room and falls out. And yes, I want the like spider part to be somewhat similar to that of the Amazing Spider-Man. But anyway, just the bite. That's all. But anyway, so when Deku comes to awaken from his like whole transpire with the spider and everything, he sees that when he goes to look in the mirror, he sees that, okay, so this is a 12-year-old boy, so we're not gonna go like all overboard and everything, but I'm gonna say that Deku right now has the body after the 10 months training with All Might. So now that Deku, he's like fit, like he hadn't worked out his entire life. And to see this, so Deku had these senses where he can hear a fly, he can hear people from far away, or when he touches like the paper on his desk, it sticks to his hand and he can't get it off. He has to peel it off. He notices that his strength is like out of the ordinary. Like this is the part where Deku just couldn't control his powers. He would reach for his door, trying to twist his doorknob and instantly pull it off. And Deku was just wondering what's going on. And he would then go to say, is this my quirk? And he would run out of his room and say, Mom, I think I have a quirk now. Can you take me to the doctor to see if it's a quirk manifested in my body? And his mother would be shocked, and she would go to say, "How do you know, Izuku?" And Izuku would touch a coffee cup that his mother had on the table, and it would stick to his hand, and he would say, "See?" And she would go to say, "Oh, you're right. Whoa, what kind of quirk do you think it is?" I think it's some kind of adhesive quirk. I also noticed that when I went to go, I'm sorry, mom, but I had to mention this. But when I went to go reach for my doorknob, I instantly pulled the door knob off. Yeah, I think might have uncontrolled strength too. So Inko ends up taking Midoriya to the doctors, and they say the same thing that they said when he was a child, that he's quirkless, he doesn't have a quirk. And this time Deku wouldn't be sad. Deku just scratches his head and says, well, how do you explain this? And he would stick his hand on one of the tools in the office, and the doctor would be like, well, I don't know. I think your quirk just might be undetectable. I think we'll run some further tests and everything just to see if you have a quirk that's just a late bloomer or just starting to develop in your body. We'll probably hit you back with the details in like 4 weeks or so. So with that, Deku goes home and he instantly wants to test out his abilities or what he can do. And he then notices that when he went to school, and the next day when he went to school and Bakugo tried to bully him, because basically Deku seen that Bakugo and his goons were beating up a kid, and Deku went to be a hero. And when Bakugo tried to throw an explosion, Deku instantly dodged the explosion, grabbed his arm, and slammed him to the ground, like he did when at the battle trial arc. And Deku was just stunned, like, how did I do that? How I don't even have. It's just like I saw his fist coming. The other two goons would try to attack Deku, but Deku would just flip over them and instantly punches both of them in the face. With the two goons saying, "How did he do that?" And Bakugo got back up and said, "So, you have a quirk, Deku." And Deku would say, "No, I don't have a quirk. I don't even know what this power is. When I went to the doctor, they just said I was quirkless. So you're a quirkless loser still. Then how do you explain what you just did? It's unbelievable. You have a quirk. You're lying to me." As Bakugo would rush back at Deku, and Deku would just dodge Bakugo, and he would hit him in the chin, basically knocking him out. And Deku has no further indication like what he's doing. He hasn't had training and hasn't basically learned any kind of way to defend himself, all but he's doing it so easy. So with that, Bakugo and Deku ended up getting suspended because of having a fight at school is not prohibited. So with that, Deku goes home, but he tells his mom, could she place an order? And I'm not gonna say what the order is that Deku needs, but she wants him to place. She wants her. Well, Deku wants his mother to place an order from him, and he gave her a list at what he needs and the technology he needs. So Deku went to like this remote area where he can do a lot of training, see what he's capable of. So it was like a junkyard, let's say that. So when Deku goes to lift a car that was trash, he wants to see just how much strength he has, and he lifts. Well, since he's 12 years old, I can say Deku. Well, he has his spider power, so it doesn't matter. Deku easily lifts the car. He easily lifts the car and then just throws it down. And Deku's saying, "So, where is his strength coming from?" When Deku went to do a jump, he realized when he jumped in the air, he jumped so high and landed. And also, he went to this kind of tennis place. Like, you know how the tennis players, when the balls shoot at them, they hit the balls back just like that to practice their technique and their skill? Deku basically did that, but he put it on full blast and turned his back towards the machine and instantly closed his eyes and dodged every ball that was coming his way. So not only did Deku find out that he has like superhuman agility, superhuman strength, and heightened senses, but he doesn't know what to call his senses. But then he has an idea that popped into his head, and he goes to say, well, what if I call it my spider sense? Yeah, that's the ringer. And now we fast forward to 2 weeks later with Inko saying, Deku, well, not Deku, Izuku, your package came in, and Izuku rushed to his mother saying, "Thank you, thank you, thank you." He went to his room and started setting up shop, and he found out that he had these kind of web fluid, so he designed and crafted his own like web shooters and everything. And with this, it's not gonna be like, okay, so we're gonna have like an Uncle Ben type of story, because you can't have a story without Uncle Ben. So Deku and let's see. After Deku gets done crafting his web shooters and all that kind of stuff, crafting his basic vigilante suit, because he wanted to see if he was like, well, if this power could basically make him a hero. Could this power be his one ticket to having his dream fulfilled? So with that, Deku has crafted his web shooters and everything. So he has this like unique costume. That's not the one that you see in the picture above. It's like sort of, say for example, a prototype. I'll have an image of the prototype outfit in the second video. That's if you guys like this series. But anyway, so Deku had like a prototype outfit, and he would go out just to test his abilities. And the first night, he climbed to the highest building that he could when he found out that he could stick to walls, and climbed to the highest building that he could, and he just took a leap of faith. Yes, a nervous Deku just jumped off a building, and he was screaming, panicking until he just was sucked the air in and sprayed the web and started swinging around the city. But he was swinging clumsy. He was swinging clumsy, but he instantly caught his balance, started getting the hang of it, started seeing what he can do. I mean, it wasn't the best best because he's just now starting out swinging. So as he was swinging around the city, he's seen these four robbers trying to rob this boyfriend and girlfriend. They had knives on them and everything. And Deku, with the hero sense that he has, a 12-year-old kid, jumps down and instantly beats up the muggers. Beats the muggers up, sprays them with webs and hangs them off a pole. And he looks at the citizens and says, "Are you okay?" And the boyfriend and girlfriend says, "A child? What? Well, anyway, thank you." And Deku just says, "No problem," and swings off. So now that Deku's back home, he knows what he can do. So he needs to think of a name for himself. He doesn't have like it on his tongue, but he just needs like one kind of name. He knows he has the name for his spider sense, and right now he doesn't have like a good name to name himself. He wants to say Spider Boy since he a kid, but he wants to sound like a good hero. So Deku would come with a thought and say, "How about Spider Man? My hero name would be Spider Man. I think that suits very nice." So with that, so Deku's uncle came to the house, and Deku hasn't seen his uncle in over ages or something like that, due to the fact that his uncle is like a war hero. He serves the U.S. Army, so he barely sees his uncle. When he does, he cherishes the moment. So when he was out with his uncle ended up going down the same road of Uncle Ben, but this time it was more brutal. In Deku's eyes, Deku would see his uncle get devoured by a being like vulture, like a vulture like being, and Deku would look in horror as his uncle would be mutilated, and they were just out for a stroll. They were just watching a movie. How could the night turn so bad? Who is this specific person that just targeted them out of nowhere? And the vulture would just look at Deku and say, "You're next, kid." As Deku would eyes would be filled with horror, but he looked at his uncle, and his uncle was just on the ground, lifeless, with a hole in his chest. Deku was angry. At this time, Deku didn't feel fear. He just felt angry. And the vulture just flew at Deku, but basically Deku dodged and kicked the vulture dead in the back of the neck. And you felt the anger emitting from Deku as the vulture flew away. And Deku would just run back over to his uncle and say, "Uncle, uncle, are you okay? No, no, he's dead. He's dead." And Deku would just look at this guy, seeing the vulture fly away, and he would instantly just run down an alley, jumping from wall to wall like a ninja, basically flipping from wall to wall, putting on his vigilante outfit that was somewhat similar to the Amazing Spider-Man's outfit, but not necessarily because the eyes were like technically bigger. Say for example, the mask looked more like Spider-Man's mask, and say for example the he had okay, so his prototype outfit was sort of similar to how Miles Morales' outfit was, but he had like a red shoes, he had the like jean the shorts, he had a jacket, and he had like a Spider-Man mask with his web shooters. So he was swinging through the city, swinging fast as he can, jumping, doing all kinds of stunts. Well, not stunts. He was propelling himself towards Vulture, and when he got there, when he propelled himself just with enough momentum, he instantly kicked Vulture in the back, sending him crashing through a building. And this is where the encounter with Deku versus Vulture, and Deku would just say, "You killed my uncle. Why? Why did you kill my uncle?" And the Vulture said, "He smelled good. It was a nice meal." And Deku would spray Vulture in the face with webs and pull him towards him and hit him with a thunderous punch to the face, sending Vulture crashing into a nearest wall. And Vulture would get back up, coughing up blood, and then fly, and then throw feathers, sharp feathers at Deku that will basically cut Deku all over his body. But Deku instantly brushes it off and shoots his web shooters at Vulture, pulls him in close, and knees him dead in the face, and then kicks him dead to the ground. And Deku said, "I will kill you for what you did." And the Vulture would look at Deku and say, "Come now, you're a hero. Heroes can't break their moral code." And Deku would instantly remember something. He remembers something that his uncle always told him. That no matter what, no matter how cruel this world can be, you should never let yourself target it. You should never let yourself be like go so low as to put yourself into a spot where you're worse than scum. It's a lot of bad people in this city, Izuku. I know it because I've seen a lot and I've done a lot. I work for the U.S. Army, for Christ's sakes. So it's not like I don't have a heart or I'm not sick at what I do. But you should always remember these words. With great power comes great responsibility. I know that. That's why I joined the military. Because I wanted to help people. I wanted to make a change and a difference. And his uncle would go to pat Izuku on the head and say, "I know that you have great power in you and you will become a great hero someday. I believe in you, Izuku." And Deku would hear this. He would hear this in his head. And Deku would he would beat Vulture, but he would knock Vulture out and spray Vulture against the wall and say, "I won't beat you. I won't kill you. I won't scoop to your level. It's not what my uncle would have wanted. It's not what he would have wanted me to do. Instead, you're going to rot in prison. Good riddance." And Deku would swing away with the Vulture screaming his name. "Hey! Hey, you! Bug boy! Come back! Get me out of these webs!" And that's it for part 1. So you guys let me know if you want a part 2 to this story. I kind of like where it's going, but I hope you know what kind of Vulture that I'm using for the area, for the direction of the story and how I want it to go. So anyway, without any further ado, you guys have a good day, a good night, and you already know the deal. Plus Ultra. Good night, guys.